Bodybuilding and fitness have undoubtedly become a prevailing trend these days. Instead of the 80s jogs and brightly colored jackets, people are now focused on weight lifting and consuming healthier sources of protein, such as chicken. It's important to be aware of some of the questionable practices that occur in the bodybuilding world. Keeping an eye out for what goes on in the industry will help you make a more informed decision before you start consuming protein powder. Number 10. Dangerous supplements. There are a ton of supplements on the market out there for people looking to get big, but just how safe are they? Well, the following press release may give you an idea. It's from May 1st, 2009. 14 hydroxycut products are being recalled voluntarily by the manufacturer. After the FDA received 23 reports of serious liver injuries ranging from jaundice to death, hydroxycut was discontinued in 2009, but had been operating since 2000. Until the brand disappeared, it was actually one of the most respected supplements out there, and their fat burners were their most popular product. What takes the whole incident to a new level of shady, however, was that they'd never confessed about what had actually caused the problem. For all we know, there could be other companies who are doing whatever it was they were doing that went wrong. Because bodybuilding supplements fall into an unusual category with the FDA, not all of them are even regulated. Added to this, once you buy them, you seemingly have to keep buying them. One such example is pre-workout. Pre-workout is super popular in the bodybuilding community, but users say that once you've started lifting with the help of its formula, which is sort of like the effects of caffeine times 2, it can be hard to go back to just using your body's natural energy. You'd be correct for thinking it cannot be entirely safe. In fact, some people have suffered from abnormal heart rhythms after long-term uses of certain pre-workout formulas. Number 9. Fake weights. You've no doubt seen the slew of attractive Instagram and YouTube fitness e-celebrities who seemingly make a living simply by posting pictures and videos of themselves working out. Well, some of them may not actually be as strong as they would like you to think. There's recently been a lot of pretty compelling cases of these fitness gurus getting called out for using fake weights. Basically, the idea is that your advice, your supplements, your whatever, seem a lot more legitimate if you yourself are really strong. If you're not actually really strong, then you could just make people think you're really strong by using weights that are actually lighter than they look. Perhaps the best example of this is Gracie Barbosa, a Brazilian Instagram model who posted a video that many have questioned where, and she appears to squat 495 pounds almost 10 times. For those of you who may not spend a lot of time in the gym, the reason people are skeptical of this video, it's because people who can squat almost 500 pounds for reps tend to look more like this than this. Another point of reference would be Olympic medalist and powerlifting record holder Chen Weiling, who's been doing strength training her whole life and can only squat 462 pounds. Number 8. Supplementation scams. The whole supplement industry is built on the idea that you need to supplement your diet. It's right there in the name. Selling supplements is the number one way that bodybuilders, as well as other fitness gurus, actually make money. In reality, however, the average person simply does not need to supplement their diet with anything. Decades of scientific research has failed to produce any substantial evidence that supplements and vitamins actually do anything significant to your body. Special protein powders and other supplements aren't why bodybuilders are so giant. Bodybuilders get most of their protein from eating actual food that is high in protein, like chicken, beef, and fish. Aesthetically speaking, supplements have come a long way from the old Flintstones tablets, and you could get cool-looking ones that are transparent and have tons of little balls inside. But the reality is that they just don't really do all that much. Some bodybuilding supplements can even be dangerous, despite not really doing anything. Number 7. Physical injury prevalence. As you can imagine, lifting weights a hobby, which entails not only picking up heavy things and putting them down repeatedly, but constantly trying to pick up and put down heavier and heavier things is a hobby, which can lead to a lot of injuries. Ronnie Coleman, 8-time Mr. Olympia, considered by most to be one of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, has had 4 spinal surgeries and a double hip replacement. Despite the fact that his injuries have actually left him unable to walk, he has actually said that the only thing he regrets is doing only 2 reps instead of 4 when he famously squatted 800 pounds. Dorian Yates, 6-time Mr. Olympia, tore his bicep, his quadricep, and almost tore triceps completely in 2. I don't think I could even move an object that would be heavy enough to tear my triceps muscle in half. Old school bodybuilder Dave Draper once said that a determined bodybuilder is driven, daring, intense, and injury-bound. So the moral to the story is if you want to get into bodybuilding, be aware of the risk. Number 6. Training secrets. Bodybuilders don't train like the majority of the lifting population, which is one of the reasons that they don't look like the majority of the lifting population. Pros also are not in the gym 24/7 working out constantly. Dorian Yates would work out for 1 hour, 4 times a week. Veteran bodybuilders know that you can only work out so much before what you're really doing is preventing your muscles from recovering. The actual lifting weights part of being a bodybuilder is usually what gets the spotlight. But most bodybuilders, when they're not trying to sell you a supplement that will magically solve your problems, will admit that diet is probably a bigger part of their success. Bodybuilders don't eat like normal humans at all. For instance, they usually eat 5 or 6 meals a day. Number 5. Torn aortas. I've already mentioned how bodybuilders aren't strangers to torn muscles. But what's more concerning is that your heart is one of the muscles that you can tear. Aortic dissection is when you tear the inner layer of the aorta, the large blood vessel branching off from your heart, and it could actually happen due to lifting weights. While the number of cases where they could confidently point to weightlift as the cause of a torn aorta is small. If you have a history of aortic dilation and hypertension, you really need to be careful. Really, if you have any sort of cardiac problems, you should seriously consider your choice to get into bodybuilding, which I know you have been considering because of the previous examples in this video. Andre Gajos was a 19-year-old aspiring bodybuilder from the United Kingdom who unfortunately died in 2015 when his aorta exploded. He was 7'2", weighed 280 pounds. The doctor who performed the autopsy said that he was not a normal man. It is extremely rare for a young person to have a torn aorta like that. I've only seen one other case in 15 years. His steroid use also played a major role in his torn aorta. Number 4. Body dysmorphia. Most people probably don't suspect that people who look like Greek statues or comic book heroes are some of the most likely to deal with body dysmorphia. However, a study published in the Journal of Psychopathology that investigated male and female participants in activities that require certain physique bodybuilding included, found that bodybuilders were more likely to be dissatisfied with their bodies and have unhealthy eating disorders than the normal population. It may seem counterintuitive at first, since you think that someone who's made of 200 pounds of muscle probably feels confident with their body, seeing as how 7 out of every 10 Americans are overweight or obese, and they're light years ahead of the general population in terms of fitness. But the people who look like that today got that way because for whatever reason, they were dissatisfied with what their body looked like originally. That mindset is what helped them reach their goal, but it's not something that's easily left behind. So bodybuilders can get stuck thinking that they're still that tiny dude they were before. Number 3. It's almost impossible to make it. The harsh reality of bodybuilding is that only a tiny percentage of people make it in the sense that they go pro and make a living as a bodybuilder without having a day job. Bodybuilding has never and likely never will be an extremely popular spectator competition. So there simply isn't the level of money and sponsors involved as there are in more mainstream sports. Bodybuilding competitions usually aren't even televised, with the exception of the biggest few every year. But this isn't the only reason that it's difficult to make it. A minority of people have the genetics to really make it far in bodybuilding. Bodybuilding requires broad shoulders, a narrow waist, as well as long muscle bellies at the highest level of competition. Past a certain point, there's just no way to train your way out of these genetic disadvantages, and it's probably the sport where genetics play the biggest role. Number 2. It's bad for your Heath. To clarify, hitting the gym and lifting weights on a regular basis is actually very healthy. It helps with weight loss, improves bone density, lowers your risk of diabetes, improves the overall health of your heart, prevents back pain, and even helps you sleep better. The super tan guys up on the stage were in Speedos, however, are not exactly the pinnacle of health. For starters, their body fat percentage is in the low single digits. For reference, the normal healthy range is somewhere around 15 to 25. This need for crazy low body fat in order to look as muscular as possible is particularly dangerous for female bodybuilders. When a woman's body fat gets that low, their pituitary gland automatically reduces the production of crucial hormones that the ovaries need. It could even stop the menstrual cycle. This has its own related problems, such as shrinkage of internal organs, loss of muscle tissue, and damage to the nervous system. It could even, in some cases, lead to death. Number 1. Steroids. Steroids are sort of an open secret in the world of bodybuilding. Steroids are one of the reasons Rich Piana had such an unhealthy and enlarged heart, and the list of additional health risks associated with steroid use is numerous. Bodybuilding competitions do not test for steroids, and everyone knows that everyone else is also on steroids. Yes, even the women, and yes, even in divisions like physique, where having the most total muscle mass is not the #1 factor in winning. Yes, even Instagram and YouTube fitness experts. You have to remember those people make a living based on their physique too. The reason why everyone is on steroids, but nobody can really admit that they're on steroids, is twofold. Firstly, the fitness industry needs faces to use in order to sell supplements, equipment, workout programs, and everything. If people thought that the people on posters look the way they do primarily due to steroids more than any other factor, then they probably would not be as likely to buy whatever product they're selling. Secondly, steroids are illegal in the United States. Law enforcement does not place a high priority on rounding up bodybuilders, finding their steroids, and tossing them in jail. But you still can't really just straight up say that you take steroids. Possibly more concerning than steroids is the widespread use of HGH, or human growth hormone. At the top level of competition, this drug is why you see so many bodybuilders with six-pack abs and next to no body fat somehow also have big extended stomachs. This is because HGH does not only help your muscles to expand, it helps your organs expand. Does that sound healthy to you? Do you know any other secrets that I should have mentioned, and have you experienced any of these issues firsthand? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching.